This is the first vlog. I'm Timo Way, and I don't know what to call this. Maybe this is going to be the morning tea. Cheers. Or it could be the daily tea, or it could be the weigh-in, just like the podcast is named. So, what's going on? I've been playing around with the idea of a vlog for a very long time, and I've yet to execute on it. I've recorded lots of weird little videos, little birthday videos to friends, little clips using Apple Clips, great app, and I've yet to actually post a vlog. Like, what do you even vlog about, man? So this is what a first vlog looks like. Weird. So, what's going on? So today on the vlog, I wanted to at least bring some ideas and bring some value. And if you're listening to this is a podcast form, so thank you for listening again. And this would be episode 13 of a podcast and vlog number 1. So if you're listening, come check it out on YouTube and probably Facebook. And I wanted to just talk about things that people have asked me this week. And also kind of touch on what I think a vlog might be. And of course it's going to evolve from here. But I've felt that this is the most important way for me to communicate, or the one biggest thing that I'm not doing, and I've encouraged other people to do it, and I've done it in the background and haven't actually executed or published or shared anything to the public outside of, like, my sister and or friends who have birthdays. And so this is a vlog, and where I think a vlog can win is when somebody's telling the truth. And what I mean by telling the truth is telling their truth. There's a lot of vlogs that I've seen where people seem to be like really up and amped, and maybe I'm amped right now, but like super in your face and positive and ha ha ha, life is so perfect, I'm a vlogger. And every time I hit record, I'm just so perfect and happy. And I just, I don't really buy that. The other side of this is, I was waiting around for something to do this. And it's the same thing. So if you're listening to the podcast, it's the same thing. Anytime there's a new endeavor, a new project, a new creative process to take up, that will reveal blocks. There will be blocks on the way to publishing, hitting share, hitting send, hitting record even. So I don't know where I got, I kind of got lost in my own pattern of thought, but the key point here with the truth is that I was waiting for something to happen before publishing a vlog. I was waiting for something to happen. That thing that to happen would be when I'm in a place of where I want to be. And, I want to come from a place of authority to talk to people. What kind of authority? What does that even mean? So, I've overcome my issues. Right now, I'll level with you. Where do I want to go? I want to be financially independent. I want to run my own business, and I know it's going to be tough as shit. It is already. So I want to be accountable for myself, and I want to be making those decisions. Of course, if you have a client-based business, there's different things going on there, and you're accountable to other people. But that's really what it is. I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. That's where I want to be. And I was waiting around because I didn't feel right. And I see a lot of people. It's really easy on the internet. I have friends. I have peers that do this. So if you're listening, this is you. Listen up. To say you're an entrepreneur, to say you're something that you're not bringing money in around that. Maybe you're not delivering value to people under that title right now. Maybe you're just advertising something you're not to people. The truth is going to win. And that's where I want to start with this vlog. And if you're on the podcast, I guess that's where I began there too. So today, I want to weigh in on a couple of questions that friends have asked, some clients have asked. When I say clients, I just mean people that have come to me, and something that I've done, whether I've written or said, has sparked something within them. That's really like, I guess that's the only reason I do it, is if I can help someone and help move the needle for humanity 1% or 0.001%, because there's like 7 billion of us on the planet, then I think I've done an okay job in life. But that's the goal. Move the needle for humanity just a little bit. I'm just one person with an internet connection sometimes. So one of the questions was along the lines of this talk that I gave called Via Negativa. Via Negativa, if you haven't heard it, the short of it is Via Negativa means the negative way. Theologians use this philosophy to describe God by what God is not. So instead of saying God is this, and this, you say, well, I know God isn't this, I know God isn't that, and you can replace God with nature or the universe or David Wolfe, whoever your God might be. You can describe this God by saying what it is not. It's, in other ways, it can be the art of subtracting things from your life in order to discover what happens when you have that space. So in this talk, for me specifically, there's a number of things. I'm very big on eliminating things from life if they're not serving me. It's a really simple philosophy. Eliminate what dulls me, and then go in more on the things that excite me. So recently, over the past year, I haven't had a drink of alcohol in just a little over a year now. And it's funny because when I ask people, or when I tell people, yeah, no, I don't drink, I'm just on this kind of indefinite no drinking habit, they're always, like, the first thing that people want to ask me, or the first reaction is, oh man, like, this guy probably has problems, like, he probably had a drinking problem before he started this, and it's like, it's not that at all. Don't get me wrong, I love beer. I love a German Hefeweizen. It's my favorite beer. I can drink it like water. But the reason I removed alcohol, the biggest reason is this, because it dulled me. And anybody who drinks a lot, it's true. I mean, what are the side effects of not drinking? There are none if you don't drink, but if you do drink, the effects are, for me, I wake up in the morning, maybe a little bit later, with less energy, lethargy, eating things maybe I shouldn't have been eating, a little bit of weight gain. When I was playing soccer, it made me play worse. I had less energy. I was sucking wind, and I was sucking. When I was 21, I could get away with that, but not at 30, which I just turned. So by eliminating alcohol from my life, I gained back energy. I gained back time, and I gained a lot of space for myself to explore, because drinking, and then the entire social aspect of drinking, it's not just drinking a beer, it's everything outside, all the effects of drinking. It's the people you're around, it's the conversations you're having, or that I was having, it's the scene, and it's the time invested, the money invested in that scene, and thereby eliminating those, because I wasn't getting, it wasn't fulfilling me, and it was dulling me more than it was exciting me. By eliminating that from my life, I then gained back those things again. Time, money. Some friends fell off, and that's just natural. It's tough, and I empathize with those people, with my friends who just maybe don't know how the hell to hang out with me. It's like, oh man, Timo doesn't, he's not drinking, so what do we do? Like, we can't invite him here, we can't go there. And they're right, I'm not going to want to go out on Friday, Saturday night, because I'm doing other things that I think are growth decisions for me. So drinking, that's another key point, and let's dive into it. So how did I come to the conclusion that drinking was the so-called pebble in my shoe? From that talk, a pebble in your shoe is like what the mafia says. It's mafia advice. Only focus on the pebble in your shoe. Okay. That thing that's, annoying you. That little thing that's like, I can walk on. I can keep doing my day-to-day with this, but, it's not really helping me. It's maybe hindering me a little bit, but not enough that, I need to take my shoe off right now and get rid of it. But long term, that pebble in your shoe, metaphorically and in real life, probably, is going to start rubbing at the bottom of your foot. It's going to Maybe make a sore. It's going to make your foot look nasty when you're going to the pool in the summer. And who wants a nasty foot in the summer while you're at the pool? Like, I don't. Like, I'm all about feet. So I'm all about going barefoot. So anyway, only focus on the pebble in your shoe. And that pebble changes forms. It's a metaphor. So for me, one of those pebbles was drinking. Okay, let's eliminate drinking. It started as a 30-day challenge. Let's see what happens. And I knew what would happen, right? I'd cut out drinking before. My writing gets better. My handwriting looks better. I produce more. I gain more confidence because I don't have the crutch of a drink in a social situation to have to speak to people. Like, I'm a pretty outgoing guy, but sometimes I put some fuel on the fire, so to speak, and then get out there in front of people and talk and just own the room. By using a crutch, though. But to be able to do that same thing without alcohol has brought me personal power that I've never had in my life. And it wasn't a 3-week thing. It wasn't a 4-week thing. It was probably after month 6, month 7, month 8, where that need of it left. So how did I come to the conclusion that drinking was the pebble in my shoe? All the things I said. It was dulling me. Going out and drinking was not fulfilling me. Fulfillment is key. So drinking only fulfilled my need to escape a job or a pressure or something within me that I hadn't quite discovered yet. So knowing that it wasn't dulling me and it wasn't sharpening me, it wasn't helping me find my edge. It was maybe helping me find my edge of how much I can drink and how much longer can I go out and how many girls can I talk to tonight and that sort of thing. But it wasn't fulfilling me. It had to go. So I gained back the energy. I gained back the focus. And the biggest piece of advice here, or the cautionary advice for when you discover whatever that is your pebble in your shoe, whatever that thing is that is dulling you, dampening you, discouraging you, depressing you, and not developing you, when you discover what that is and you eliminate it, this is where it is so important to stay there. To be in that place, in that void, and stay there for as long as you can, and it will only get more and more uncomfortable. Sit with the discomfort. The easy thing to do in those situations is to replace and fill that void, whether it's alcohol or, a relationship, whatever that thing is. Alcohol specifically, the easy thing is to replace that void and fill that gap that's just been excavated with eating more, with a sugary diet, with a new person that matches the old person but it's new and fresh and your hormones are racing again. It just feels like you're a spiritual connection. It's a new relationship that looks the same as the last one. And then 8 months go by and you're back in the same cycle again. And then 8 months go by and you're back drinking again. Or 2 months go by and you just gained 15, 20, 30 pounds because instead of drinking alcohol and drinking your calories, now you're eating your calories. That's the easy thing to do. That's the safe decision. The growth decision is to sit in the discomfort and get comfortable with being uncomfortable in that discomfort. Cool. So my advice there is to sit in discomfort once you find out what that pebble is in your shoe. Stay with it. Whatever that's got to be for you. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months. Whatever you do not fall back into the old pattern. For as long as you can, know what it feels like to not need that old pattern anymore. Don't eliminate water. Don't eliminate breathing. But whatever that is, then if you're finding that, the other question was, what advice would I offer in discovering your own Pebble? And in discovery, like discovering anything, it requires exploring. Whether it's a new land, whether it's for a new home, you've got to explore. You've got to try things out, right? A lot of people, one of the biggest reasons I left the corporate world my first time and left my hometown of Ohio is because I needed something more. There was this huge voice in my head that just wouldn't shut up, and it needed to break the pattern. It was every pattern that needed broken for me. Relationships, business, and seeing the people around me. So in discovering, and there wasn't space. It was falling into a pattern, as I said before, a comfort pattern, a safety pattern. To discover your own Pebble, we need to be able to mute the voices that are telling us what's safe and telling us the things that are safe, the things that we are doing that we feel are safe are actually hurting us. They're actually helping us avoid the difficult conversation. They're helping us to avoid the growth decision. They're helping us avoid the gym. To work out, it can be painful sometimes. It can be exhausting. It's tough to go to the gym every day. It's tough to go to the gym once a week for some people. It's tough to go to the gym once in a year. So, explore. Give yourself the space to explore. I know it's like super general and super vague, but more specifically, there's meditation and writing. Those are ways of giving yourself space, right? Every morning I have a writing, meditation, and some sort of physical routine every morning, 90% of the time, depending on what's going on. But you can guarantee there's going to be some form of meditation and writing for me every morning. Whatever that looks like for you, just turn off the TV, turn off other stuff. You're going to figure out what that is for you. Give yourself space, which means give yourself time. Give yourself permission to explore and become your own best investigator. Become an investigator of your psychology. And then, when you're investigating your psychology and auditing all of your actions, see what's going on. Where is your body going? Where is your mind going? What is your mind saying that maybe isn't helping you out? Maybe it's keeping you in the same place. So, got it? So, again, key points. Give yourself space for exploration. Give yourself the time. And sit in discomfort. Once you discover what that thing is, be okay to let it go. And be okay to let it go when it's painful. And know that in letting go, when you let go, that's the biggest thing you can do to love yourself. To love yourself is to let yourself go. And I don't mean, eating and gaining 50 pounds or binging on drugs or Netflix. Sometimes that might be okay. But real self-love is an ability to let things go from yourself. Okay. And I really want to stick it with people want good news about bad habits. When we investigate our psychology and what we're doing, gotta have the courage to be honest with ourselves first, and act from a place of truth from within ourselves. Maybe you have no idea what the hell that is. I'm still working on mine, right? I know where I want to get. I know that I want to be financially independent. I want to have location independence, and I want to be running my own businesses and thriving in that situation. I'm not there today, but that's where I'm going, right? People want good news about bad habits. If you want to get somewhere and you're not getting there yet, you have to be strong enough and honest with yourself to a point where you can tell yourself, like, hey, you know what? Going out to happy hour 3 times a week just is not working for me anymore. I'm not getting to where I want to be. I've been in this job for 6 years, and I have not had a raise, and my boss treats me like shit, and it's not going anywhere. And I've had the conversations that I've needed to have. Or maybe you haven't had the conversation. Whatever those things are, stop giving yourself good news about bad habits. That's what people want. Quit the tough stuff. A lot of the stuff is obvious. You're not getting dates. Maybe it's because you're overweight. Be honest with yourself. You're not getting the date you want. You're not getting the job you want. Maybe your resume sucks. Maybe you should get some help for that. Maybe your experience isn't big enough. Maybe you need to go take an internship somewhere and work for free and hustle a little bit. You don't have a blog with 1 million followers. It's because you have 2 blog posts and your writing sucks right now. Work on it. Be honest with yourself. And that's a way to find the pebble in your shoe. Got a little bit serious there. But really, stop giving yourself good news about bad habits. So the other piece is, this week I took a walk around a lake, and somebody reached out to me, and it's cool. I love when people reach out to me, and they like I have some life-changing, life-altering advice for them. I'm gonna take a sip of this coffee here. This T-Rex mug. It's an awesome T-Rex mug. But somebody reached out to me, and we went out for a walk. And we had a conversation, and the person was in a time of transition. Nothing crazy. Well, at least for them. Now I'm reeling. So anyway, that person, we walked around the lake, and a number of people have come up to me with the same questions lately. And it's really centered around, how do I release my art into the world? And the thing I say to that is, if you're afraid to make a mess, you'll never make anything. I've seen many people stop before they ever even start. And they're just stopped. They're sitting at a stop sign and they're not moving because they're afraid to make a mess. Whether that mess is in a kitchen with a cooking project and, oh my gosh, I'm making a mess. You know, what do we do when we cook? Like, it's a freaking mess. Have you been in a kitchen? Maybe it's just my kitchen. But there's food everywhere. There's scraps. There's trash. There's wrappers. There's compost. There's all sorts of stuff going on when there's cooking happening, right? There's water and sauces, and that's why chefs wear aprons, because the creative process is a mess. So, if you're afraid to make a mess, you'll never make anything. You won't get anywhere. If you care that, oh my gosh, my first attempt is going to be messy, you'll never be as good as Lionel Messi. You know, he gets on the field. If you don't know who that is, incredible soccer player. It's like, at one point, he was like LeBron of soccer. If you don't know who LeBron is, you gotta Google it. So, it's about releasing, it's about hitting publish, it's about hitting share, it's about hitting record, and it's about not giving a crap about what other people think about you or the mess that you're making, and just putting it out there and getting your hands dirty, doing the work and letting it out. That's it. It's really that simple. And we had a great, really interesting conversation about writer's block. And that's what it boiled down to. I mean, the conversation boiled down to these key points here. And one was writer's block. And writer's block, by the way, it doesn't matter if you're writing or vlogging or, you know, typing emails at work or whatever that might be. The block is the realest thing between what's in our heads or our hearts or guts or wherever they are, and the pen or the finger hitting the keyboard or the piece of paper, and then the send or the publish, right? The execution. So, writer's block. My theory on writer's block is that if you've ever read The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, the entire book is about writer's block. I don't even know if he says writer's block in the book or uses the term writer's block. Instead, he uses the word resistance, and he talks about all these metaphors about writer's block, and it's just a beautifully written book. And about, you know, one of the key points is that We have to show up to our work. If you're an entrepreneur or wantrepreneur, or you're a creative, and whatever that thing is for you, whether it's writing a blog post or posting some memes to your Facebook fan page, whatever that is, we got to show up. Especially if you're escaping the 9 to 5. The cool thing about the 9 to 5 is that discipline of showing up. What do we do when we show up to our jobs? Regardless of whether or not we love it, we show up at 9 o'clock. Even if we hate it, we still show up for work. Even if it sucks. And we sit there, or hopefully stand sometimes, for 8, 9, 10 hours, and then we go home and we chill, right? So if you have aspirations of leaving that, like I do and have, then, or you want to create your blog or whatever that is, show up. And show up in that disciplined fashion at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever that is for you every day. And push through the resistance. So that was one of the cool key points from that book. The other piece is writer's block is really just getting in your head. I've written blogs about, they're not good blogs either, by the way. But I've written things that are purely about writer's block. Literally, just start typing about writer's block. And it seems like once I had this realization, it's like a lot of blogs or a lot of really good books, it seems, are just about writer's block. And they're just about, getting past this boogeyman that sits between us and creating. And pushing through that that block is the entire storyline. It's the hero's journey to publishing a blog post, or the hero's journey to going to work that day. So just do it. I mean, Nike made a great tagline on this thing. So that's what it all came down to. It's like a lot of us have ideas. We've never been so lucky, and I'm going to get a little bit more high level here, but all of us, we've never had such an amazing ability to just create something, distribute it, and then receive feedback immediately. It's never been easier to share our arts with the world. Never been easier. At the same time, it's also a challenge because the people are going to decide whether or not they like it. Maybe, I've spent, at one time I spent some hours on writing something, and maybe 5 people viewed it. Did I stop? Hell no. I kept going. Because I know my stuff isn't that good yet. I know yet that it's not that good, and I just keep moving forward, right? Maybe one day somebody will pick it up and love it. And a number of you have told me, and I really appreciate it, and I love you for that. Thank you. So, in that, it's doing versus trying. It's remembering all the cliches. It's remembering what Yoda said to Luke Skywalker when he tried to raise the X-Wing. It's do or do not. There is no try, baby. There's literally, show me what trying looks like. Because it doesn't look like doing. It looks a little bit more like not doing, but slightly different than not doing. Because when you're not doing, I think, when I imagine not doing, you're just like, chill. I'm not doing anything. Whatever. But if you're trying, it's like, ugh, I'm just constipated with this idea, and I just need to get it out. Right? It's like being pregnant with an idea and just never giving birth. That's got to be painful. And I think of that Maya Angelou quote, there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. So what's your story? What is the thing that you need to do and release into the world that you've been procrastinating on? What is the pebble in your shoe that is dulling, depressing, dampening you, slowing you down? And are you going to have the courage to give yourself the real news about your bad habits? The courage to eliminate those things that are dulling you. Then, once you eliminate them, to have the greater courage to sit with the discomfort of the elimination And then, in that space, be your own best investigator. Become the greatest investigator. Become the Sherlock Holmes of your psychology and audit your behavior. And then once you figure out what those things are that excite you, go all in on them. And then have the courage to make a mess. Because if you're afraid to make a mess, you'll never make anything. If you're afraid to look within you, you'll never see anything. And that, my friends, that wraps up this episode of The Way In. Thank you for listening. Reach out to me on Facebook or email. I seriously love you for emailing me and having the conversation. That stuff, it gives me life. No joke. And I'm really looking forward to do more of these with you. Make it a great day, and I will see you or talk to you soon.